padang, semua dungu berpenunggu. Kami inspirasi sebab itu mereka tiru. Guru kami lain, kualiti nombor 1. Bukan macam tempat tu, asal ke tempat penuh beribu politik. Ya dulu kami seorang pakai, lepas kami pakai bersepah semua nak pakai. Kualiti kelas pertama, yuran kami tak masuk akal. Mari join sekali, pasti suka kami tak sangkal. Hey up, listen up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember, inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way, only way, how you wanna level up. Hey up, listen up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember, inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way, only way, how you wanna level up.
Yang silakan.
10 sebab
10
seronok sebab cikgu bagi step by step, saya boleh faham.
Silakan.
Saya boleh bagi rate 10 per 10 lah. Okay. Ni bukan sebagai apa, ni bukan pasal
We trust to help me level up. Cheer up, Lahazon, we believe our grade will be increased. Stand up with a holistic approach. We sure they are great coach. Chill up, do the best, be the best, who the best, we're the best. Hey up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember, inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way, only way, how you wanna level up. Hey up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember, inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way, only way, how you wanna level up.
Saya dapat terangkan tajuk yang sukar untuk dipelajari oleh pelajar-pelajar. Terang sampai dapat. Itulah yang paling bagus di dalam ni.
Rahazon terbaik.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. Welcome to live session for today with Teacher Rafizah in Drilling Superpower English for secondary school students. If you can hear my voice clearly, you can give your feedback in the comment sections. Those who are watching in the YouTube and also in the Facebook, you can just give your comments, give your feedback if you can hear my voice very clear. Okay, hold on, let me check first. Okay, nice one. Okay, so welcome back to this live session with Teacher Rafizah. Okay, this is the second week of our Drilling Superpower English for SPM and also PT3 students. So for today, I'm going to continue the last topic that we have discussed last week, which is indirect speech versus direct speech. Okay, hold on. I can see that there are some comments in YouTube section. Let me pop up the comment first. Okay, first I can see from Iman's Beta and Aquaspace. Sorry, it's not Aquaspace, Aquascape. Okay, I can see from, okay, hello Miss, hi. Okay, from Nurul Huda, hi Miss, hi Nurul Huda, and I can see from Facebook, which is from Cikgu Rizman. Assalamualaikum teacher, waalaikumsalam Cikgu Riz. Okay, without wasting the time, let me share the screen first so that we can explore more about the part 2, second part of direct speech versus indirect speech. Hopefully you can get ready with your notes and also your stationery kits, because and third rules. Okay, let me share the screen first. Hold on, give me a second. This one. Okay, I already shared the screen, so let's get started here. Direct speech versus indirect speech part 2. Okay, before I proceed to our rules, to the second rules, our live for today, I would like to do some revision first. Okay, those who are watching this live, whether you are in the Facebook or in the YouTube, you can give your comments. Okay, the first question of revision is, can you recall what's the meaning by indirect speech and direct speech? Can you recall what's the meaning by these two types of speech? Can you recall? Okay, what's the meaning by indirect speech and also direct speech? If you know this, then we can continue to the next rules. Okay, last week I have shared the definitions of indirect speech and also the first rules of the indirect speech. Do we have it in the comments, YouTube and also the Facebookers? Okay, now let's watch here. Okay, part 2, today is 6th July. Okay, rules in direct speech. Now let's watch or let's look what's the rules of indirect speech that you need to bear in your mind. First rules is you need to remember this. When you are making a reported speech, which is indirect speech, you normally that I have shared last week, which is if you have direct speech, which is you have the tenses is simple present tense, which is I am ready to eat. When you want to change in indirect speech or in reported speech, you need to change the simple present tense become simple past tense. Let me put some annotation here first so that you can take some notes here. Okay, if the tenses in the direct speech is using simple present tense, once you want to make or you want to replace or you want to change into indirect speech, this simple present tense must be changed with simple past tense. So it will be what? Okay, it will be she said that she was ready to eat. This one. Okay, Anis said that she was ready to eat. How can you identify the simple past tense? Okay, this one. In the verb to be or auxiliary verb. Okay, that is the first rule that I have shared to all of you, to all the Facebookers and also the YouTubers last week in the first section of indirect speech versus direct speech. Okay, that's the first things that you need to remember. If the tenses in direct speech is using simple present tense, once you want to make it in indirect speech, you need to change from simple present tense into simple past tense. Got it? Okay, now let's look at the second rules for today. Okay, direct speech here. Direct speech means some of you said, teacher, how to identify directed speech? Okay, direct speech. Okay, all of you need to remember this one. Direct speech you can identify by having look at the converted comma. Okay, inverted comma. That's mean inverted comma in Malay we call it as pengikat kata. Okay, if in the sentence we have the inverted comma, that's mean that is the direct speech. Okay, that's the direct speech. When you want to report it or when you want to say in indirect speech, you need to remove the inverted comma. Okay, got it? Okay, now let's check here. Back to our slide here. The tenses given here is present continuous tense. How can you identify the present continuous tense? Because you have this word. Okay, you got am and also verb that have ing. Okay, that's the present continuous tense. Direct speech here, the presence of the tenses in this direct speech is using present continuous tense. It said here, I am going to eat, said Lutfi. How can you change this sentence, direct speech, into indirect speech? if the direct speech using simple present tense, you need to change into simple past tense. How about this one? The tenses is present continuous tense. What should you use the tense here? What is the tense that involve in this indirect speech? Can you guess, students? Okay, let me look here. Okay, we have from Facebookers and also we have from YouTubers. Can you guess what should I or what should we change these tenses in indirect speech to be indirect speech? Is it we need to use past participle? Is it we need to use present, simple present tense, or how? Can you guess? The tenses in this direct speech is present continuous tense. I am going to eat, said Lutfi. Okay, when we want to change this direct speech into indirect speech, you need to change present continuous tense become past continuous tense for indirect speech. Why? Because you want to report the speech. You want to say what have been said by Lutfi to another person. Okay, there's the meaning by indirect speech. So remember, if the tenses is in present continuous tense in the direct speech, when you want to change or when you want to replace this direct speech become indirect speech, you need to change type of tenses. So means here, if it is present continuous tense, you need to change into past continuous tense. So how can it be? Let me put here present continuous tense and past continuous tense. Okay, past continuous tense, remember, am will be what? You need to know the helping verb or verb to do that involve in past continuous tense. Now, let's check this. In direct speech, it will be Lutfan said he was going to eat. Where's the indicator of the past continuous tense? This one. Was, and this is using am. But still going is the same word. Okay? Lutfan said he was going to eat. This is the past continuous tense. The am is a plus verb plus ing, or we call this as present participle. Am is a plus verb participle, present participle. This is for continuous tenses. Okay, when you look at here, am is are, am we use for subject I, is we use for singular subject, meanwhile are we use for plural subject. This is when in the present continuous tense. But if you want to change into past continuous tense, these three helping verbs or these three verb to do of present continuous tense will be was or were. Okay, was we use for singular subject, meanwhile were we use for plural subject. Okay, next, you need to know what is the subject here. What is the subject in the sentence? Lutfan. Lutfan is a one person. So it will be Lutfan said he was going to eat. This is for past continuous tense. Okay, is it clear now? Nice one. Okay, remember, if present continuous tense represents the direct speech, when you want to change into indirect speech, the present continuous tense will be past continuous tense. Easy, right? Okay, let's test your understanding here. We are working, said Raj. Okay, this is the direct speech. Direct speech here given here is we are working, said Raj. How can you change this sentence, this direct speech become indirect speech? Remember, you need to know what is the sentence, what is the type of tense that involve in this direct speech. Number two, you need to know how many speakers are talking in the sentence? Is it singular? Is it only one person? Or is it more than one person? Okay, I'm going to give you for about 50 minutes, 50 minutes, 50 seconds, okay? 50 seconds for you to think first. What is the correct answer here? What is the correct indirect speech here? Direct speech given here is we are working, said Raj. Now your task is I need you to give to me, or I need you to think the answer for indirect speech for this one. Okay, is it clear? The sentence here is we are working. First, you need to identify what type of tenses that involve in this direct speech. Okay? Okay, I'm going to give you for about 15 seconds only. Then you can think. If you do not have any time for you to type, it's okay, as long as you know that you understood this formula of indirect speech versus direct speech part 2. Okay? Okay, if you want to give to me your answer in the comment sections, it is allowed. Okay, you are welcome. Okay, now let's check here. We are working, said Raj. First, you need to know the subject of the sentence. Okay, the subject here is we. The subject is we means kami sedang bekerja. Okay, what is the tenses? Is it past tense? Is it present continuous tense? Or is it simple past tense? Okay, the answer is we are working. Means this one is present continuous tense. Why I say present continuous tense? Because first, you have the helping verb here, which is are, and then you got the present participle. Present participle means the combination between action words, okay, base action word plus ing. Okay, means this sentence in direct speech is using present continuous tense. Okay, I got from Huda here. Okay, yes, you got it right, Huda. But you need to remember, Huda, you need to difference between present simple present tense or present continuous tense. If you just answer using present, the examiner or the teacher may get confused. Is it the students want to say present continuous or simple present? Okay, Huda? So remember, you need to use the full of the tense. Okay, if it is a present continuous, then you write present continuous. If it is in the simple present, then you write simple present. Okay? Okay, let's check here. The answer here, the subject here is we. And the tense that involved in this direct speech is present continuous tense. Now let's check. Okay, Raj is a man, so means we need to use he. He told me, they. Where come this word? Okay, where does this word come? Remember, when you say to someone, when you are direct speech, you just say kami sedang bekerja. We are working. But when you want to report your speech to another party, you need to change this we, kami, becomes they, which is mereka. But then you need to remember, they means more than one, means it is a plural. When it is plural, you need to use the helping verb or verb to do that, verb to be that involved in this past continuous tense is were. So the answer is he told me they were working. Okay, got it? Okay, okay, Huda said, oh, yes, Huda, okay. He told me they were working. Why you use they? Because you want to replace the word of we. Okay, got it? We are working, said Raj, in direct speech. When we want to change into indirect speech, it will be he told me they refer to we were working. They were working. Got it? Easy, right? Okay, remember the formula here is if the direct speech is using present continuous tense, you need to change indirect speech become past continuous tense. Not only that, you need to change the subject of the sentence also. For example, here, for a direct speech, they are using we, but when you want to change into indirect speech, you need to change we become they. Got it? Easy, right? Okay, now you know it. Okay, now let's have a look at the third rule for this indirect speech. Oh, sorry, this is not the third rule. Okay, next, second question for these rules for today. Lucy is reading a book in front of the fire. Now you do not have any subject or any word that said who. Okay, it's just a statement here. Lucy is reading a book in front of the fire. How can you change this direct speech become indirect speech? First, you need to know what is the subject, types of the subject, which is it is plural or singular, and then you need to know the gender of the subject. And last one, you need to know what is the sentence, what type of tenses that involve in this direct speech. Okay, I'm going to give you for about maybe 25 seconds. Okay, 25 seconds for you to think first. What is the subject that involved in this tense? And also, what is the tense that involved in this sentence? Lucy is reading a book in front of the fire. Dia baca buku depan apa? Api. What is the subject here? And also, what is the tense that involved in this one? And last one is, what is the gender of the subject? Who said this sentence actually? Okay, I'm going to give you for about 20 seconds left. Lucy is reading a book in front of the fire. Okay. Okay, let's check. Okay, I think we have for about 7 minutes left before this live needs to be end. So we are going to discuss first. Okay. Okay. A tip for you. Okay, a tip for the viewers who are watching this live. If you look at this sentence, it just gives to you, Lucy is reading a book in front of the fire without any word of said who. Okay, it is different from the first sentence, which is I am going to eat said Lutfan. But this one, there is no the word of said by whom. Okay, so how can we do this? How can we know? How can we identify who is the subject? What type of the subject? What's the gender of the subject? Okay, remember, for this sentence, for this type of this sentence, if you do not have any word of said by whom in the direct speech, you need to remember that you need to change the subject in direct speech will be a man or a boy. Means you need to use the pronouns of he. Okay, let me repeat. If you just see the sentence like this without the word of said by whom, the subject in the indirect speech, in reported or indirect speech, the subject will be he. Okay, the subject will be he. For example, he say what? Okay, after this, we are going to look at the answers. Okay, but then now let's look at the type of tense that involve in this direct speech. Tense is here, is reading. Okay, means type of tenses that involve in this direct speech is present continuous tense. So it will be he told me. He told me, remember, he told me Lucy is reading will be was reading. Why we need to use was? Because Lucy is a one person, a single person, singular. That's why we use was. Okay. He told me Lucy was reading a book in front of the fire. Okay, easy, right? He told me. Remember, he told me Lucy was reading a book in front of the fire. That is the second question for the second rules. Okay, is it clear? If you have any questions or maybe you have a confusing, you can just type in the comment section whether you are Facebookers or maybe you are watching in the YouTube. Okay, if you do not have any confused or if you don't have any questions, I'm going to move to the third rules of indirect speech versus direct speech. Okay, let's move. Okay, next one. Next rule. The third rule, if the tenses that involve in the direct speech is using simple past tense. Okay, now remember the first tenses that I have shared to you just now is they are using simple present tense for direct speech. But now direct speech is using simple past tense. What do you think the tenses that we need to change into indirect speech if the direct speech is using simple past tense? Do we need to use simple present tense for direct speech, for indirect speech? Okay, now look here. Direct speech is using simple past tense. But then, how about the indirect speech? Is it we need to use simple present tense to replace the simple past tense? Now let me show to you here. Let me share to all of you that who are watching this live session for Drilling Superpower English with PLF Rafizah for today. If you look at this tense in the direct speech, you need to change simple past tense become past perfect tense. What is the past perfect tense? Okay, now let's watch. You need to change simple past tense. Okay, you can take note this one. If the direct speech is using simple past tense, you can replace, okay, you should replace simple past tense become past perfect tense if you want to change the direct speech become indirect speech. For example here, it said, I ate the biscuit, said Marvel. This one is in the direct speech. Tenses involved is simple past tense. Indirect speech, it will be Marvel said he had eaten the biscuit. Tenses involved is past perfect tense. But then now I have a question. How can you know, or what is the formula for past perfect tense? Past perfect tense, the formula is you need to add had, okay, verb to have here, had plus verb number 3, the third word. Okay, what's the meaning of verb number 3? Verb number 3, for example, like this. Hold on, yeah, let me read here. Okay, for example, eats in the present present tense, we have eats, but then in the past continuous tense, sorry, it is a bit ugly here because I didn't bring my pen. Okay, it will be ate in the past tense. In the verb number 3, the third word, it will be the eaten. Okay, or you can say verb number 3. The name is it is also known as past participle. Okay, nice one. Okay, verb number 3 is past participle. Okay, eat, ate, eaten. Then you need to know the biscuits. You need to change this ate past tense word become past perfect tense, which is this is the formula: had plus verb number 3. So it will be Marvel said he. Okay, Marvel is a boy. Marvel said he had eaten the biscuits. Done. Okay. There is if the tenses in the direct speech is using past simple past tense. Simple past tense in direct speech. The indirect speech will be past perfect tense. Remember, past perfect tense, the formula this one first. Okay, now you can hear my voice. Okay, there is for direct speech. If the tenses is involved is simple past tense, then you need to use past perfect tense in indirect speech. Okay, for those who want to get this module, you can just text. Maybe you can just text me in the Facebook or in our Instagram of Superpower English and also the Lahazing. Okay, so I can give you this module and also a set of the exercise for these two rules for today. Okay, so I hope that you gain some knowledge or something new from this class for this class. Okay, for today, I hope that you want to join me in another live session for part 3 of indirect speech versus direct speech. Okay, for this topic indirect speech and also direct speech, I'm going to do maybe at least 3 parts. So next week will be the last part of direct speech and indirect speech. Okay, let me stop share this one first. Okay, so that's all from me for today. I hope that you happy with the class and looking forward to be with me for the next live. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Kami turun padang semua dungu berpenunggu. Kami inspirasi sebab itu mereka tiru. Guru kami lain kualiti nombor 1. Bukan macam tempat tu asal ke tempat penuh beribu politik. Ya dulu kami seorang pakai, lepas kami pakai bersepah semua nak pakai. Kualiti kelas pertama orang kami tak masuk akal. Mari join sekali pasti suka kami tak tangkal. Hey up, listen up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way only way how you wanna level up. Hey up, listen up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way only way how you wanna level up.
Yang aku sebut. Silakan.
10 sebab
10
seronok sebab cikgu bagi step by step, saya boleh faham.
Silakan.
Saya boleh bagi rate 10/10 lah. Okay. Ni bukan sebagai apa, ni bukan pasal air.
Tanzul we trust to help me level up. Cheer up, Lahazon, we believe our grade will be increased. Stand up with a holistic approach. We sure they are great coach. Chill up, do the best, be the best, who the best, we're the best. Hey up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way only way how you wanna level up. Hey up, listen up. Wanna be a success student, remember about adab. Remember inside kita, remember about your study, cause that way only way how you wanna level up.
Saya dapat terangkan